Cristiano Ronaldo, a name that splits opinions, sparks debates, and fills highlight reels that never seem to end. But here's the real question. When exactly was he at his prime? Was it the lightning-fast winger at Manchester United, dazzling crowds with step-overs and leaving defenders sliding on the grass? Was it 2008, when he scored goals from everywhere on the pitch, lifted both the Premier League and Champions League, and was crowned the best player in the world at just 23? Or was that only the beginning?
Without a shadow of a doubt, and his box work is absolutely brilliant. And like I say, he's transformed himself from being a player who's young, erratic, to someone who's absolutely brilliant and who can score goals.
This is the debate that never ends. In this documentary, we'll give you the answer.
Yes. just say, I enjoy game. I dribble very well.
When Cristiano Ronaldo first stepped onto the pitch for Manchester United in 2003, he wasn't the powerhouse we remember today. He was a skinny teenager from Madeira with spiky hair, a bag of stepovers, and an ego that rubbed people the wrong way. Fans were amazed at his tricks, but his teammates, not so much.
No, I think there are three phases to his career. So the first couple of years at United, where he scored 6 goals in his first year, 9 goals, you were tolerating him in a way, tolerating him from a defensive point of view, and then in an attacking point of view, he was erratic.
Ryan Giggs even said they used to kick him in training whenever he overdid it. Imagine being so flashy that your own teammates are plotting to take you down in practice. But the Premier League wasn't the Portuguese league. Here, defenders were giants like John Terry and Sami Hyypiä, players who would shoulder you off the ball before you even had time to blink. Pundits called him a show pony with no end product. Ouch. Still, Ronaldo gave glimpses of what he could become. His first United goal came from a trademark free kick, a curling strike against Portsmouth in November 2003. It wasn't the knuckleball thunderbolts we'd see later, but it was the first taste of his growing obsession with set pieces. You could almost see him thinking, this is just the beginning. The following season, he took another step. In the 2004 FA Cup final against Millwall, the teenager opened the scoring with a header, guiding United to a comfortable 3-0 victory. On one of England's biggest stages, he delivered. For all the criticism about his selfishness, this was proof. The kid could step up when it mattered, but life off the pitch hit him harder than any Premier League defender could. In 2005, his father died from liver and kidney failure. Ronaldo was just 20. The loss broke him inside. Many players in his shoes might have crumbled. We saw it with Inter's Adriano, who was never the same after losing his father. But Ronaldo responded differently. He buried himself in training. In the gym, on the pitch, even in his diet. His body began to change. Shoulders, chest, legs, transforming from a skinny kid into a machine built for speed, strength, and stamina. But it wasn't just muscle, it was mindset. Rene Meulenstein, one of United's coaches at the time, gave him the advice that changed everything. You don't need to score beautiful goals. Score with your head, your knee, your toe. Score ugly if you have to. Just put the ball in the net. That lesson reshaped Ronaldo's entire career. By the end of the 2005 to 2006 season, Cristiano had reached double figures in goals for the first time in his career. He wasn't world-class yet, but the foundation was laid. He had the physique, the mentality, and the hunger. The boy from Madeira was turning into something terrifying. This was the birth of a machine, but the world hadn't seen anything yet. The 2006 World Cup ended in controversy. Ronaldo was caught winking at the Portuguese bench after his Manchester United teammate Wayne Rooney was sent off against England. That cheeky little wink made him public enemy number 1 in England. He was booed every time he touched the ball the next season. But for Cristiano, criticism was fuel. And when the 2006/07 Premier League season kicked off, the boos only seemed to make him stronger. Ronaldo racked up 23 goals and 14 assists across all competitions, driving United to their first league title in 4 years. This was the season he went from a flashy kid to a serious footballer. He was still dribbling, still entertaining, but now he had end product. Then came 2007/08, the season where Cristiano Ronaldo became unstoppable. 42 goals in 49 matches. A free kick against Portsmouth that swerved so viciously, even the goalkeeper just froze. That goal is still played on highlight reels today because it looked like the ball had a mind of its own. In the Premier League, defenders had no answer. He scored 31 league goals, winning the Golden Boot and becoming the first winger in history to dominate the scoring charts like a center forward. He wasn't just creating anymore, he was finishing everything. The Champions League was no different. Ronaldo scored 8 times, including the goal in the final against Chelsea in Moscow. Sure, he missed his penalty in the shootout, but United still lifted the trophy. For Ronaldo, it was the perfect season. Premier League champion, Champions League champion, Ballon d'Or winner. And here's the scary part. He wasn't even at his physical peak yet. He was still lean, still growing, but his confidence, sky high. His mentality, unbreakable. He had transformed from a show pony into the most complete winger the game had ever seen. For many fans, this was Ronaldo's true prime. He could dribble past 3 men, create chances out of nothing, and score free kicks, headers, and screamers. He was the definition of unstoppable. But Cristiano Ronaldo was never satisfied. Even after reaching the top of the world, he felt there was more. And so, the young superstar decided he wasn't just going to be the best winger. He wanted to become the greatest goal scorer football had ever seen. In the summer of 2009, Cristiano Ronaldo made history. Real Madrid paid 94 million euros, the highest transfer fee ever at the time, to bring him from Manchester United. Just imagine that pressure. Arriving in Spain as the most expensive player in football history, expected to lift a club back to glory while facing the greatest Barcelona team ever assembled. And yet, from day one, he delivered. In his first 4 league games, Ronaldo scored in every single one. He ended his debut season with 33 goals in 35 games. Not bad for a new signing trying to settle into a new league. But there was a catch. Despite Ronaldo's brilliance, Madrid couldn't outshine Barcelona. Pep Guardiola's Barca, powered by Lionel Messi, won the league with a record 99 points, while Madrid finished second with 96. Ronaldo was putting up ridiculous numbers, but trophies still felt out of reach. The following seasons, though, showed the true reinvention of Cristiano Ronaldo. He wasn't the same player from Manchester United anymore. At United, he was a winger who scored goals. At Madrid, he became a pure goal machine. He cut out the extra step-overs, reduced the showboating, and sharpened his game into one deadly purpose: scoring. By 2010/11, he had scored 53 goals in 54 games. By 2011/12, he went even higher, 60 goals in 55 games. That season, Real Madrid hit 100 points in La Liga, breaking Barcelona's dominance and proving Ronaldo could carry a team to the title even against Messi at his peak. This was not the flashy Ronaldo of 2008. This was a new version, a player who reinvented himself into a predator inside the box with both feet and his head. A player who had turned discipline and training into goals, and more goals. For many, this is where the debate about his prime really begins. Because while he wasn't dribbling past everyone anymore, he was doing something even more valuable, becoming the most consistent scorer the game had ever seen. But Ronaldo wasn't done. He had conquered England. He had adapted to Spain. Now he was about to write his name into Champions League history. The world was about to meet Mr. Champions League. By 2013, Cristiano Ronaldo had already broken records in Spain. But one thing still haunted him: the Champions League. For Real Madrid, the obsession was even bigger. The club had been stuck on 9 European Cups for over a decade. Fans called it La Decima, the 10th. It became a dream, almost a curse. And in 2013/14, Ronaldo took that dream personally. What happened next was simply ridiculous. He scored 17 goals in a single Champions League campaign, a record that still stands today. Group stage, he tore through it. Knockouts, he was everywhere, scoring against Schalke, Dortmund, Bayern Munich, you name it. Then came the final in Lisbon. Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. The match was pure drama. Atletico led until the very last minute when Sergio Ramos equalized. In extra time, Madrid broke loose, and of course it was Ronaldo who slammed home the final goal to make it 4-1. Shirt off, muscles flexing, screaming into the night. It was the perfect Hollywood ending. This wasn't the Ronaldo of 2008, dazzling with stepovers. This was a sharper, deadlier version. A man built for the biggest stage in football. He wasn't just winning trophies anymore. He was rewriting history. For many fans, this was the start of his second prime, the moment when Cristiano Ronaldo became Mr. Champions League. He had turned pressure into power, and from this season on, Europe was his playground. But if 2014 was the birth of Mr. Champions League, the years that followed would show his true apex. His numbers, his hat tricks, his dominance, all about to reach levels football had never seen before. By 2015, Cristiano Ronaldo was no longer just a winger. He had fully transformed into something else. A penalty box predator. A striker in everything but name. He wasn't doing 20 stepovers anymore. He didn't need to. One run, one touch, one shot, goal. Simple, ruthless, inevitable. In the 2014/15 season, he scored 61 goals in 54 games. Against Granada, he scored 5 in a single match. A month later, he bagged another hat trick. It was like he was farming goals for fun. For most players, 20 goals is a dream season. For Ronaldo, 20 was just a warm-up. Then came the 2015/16 Champions League. Real Madrid were on the ropes against Wolfsburg, 2-0 down after the first leg. The Bernabeu was tense. But Ronaldo? He didn't flinch. He scored a hat trick in the second leg, turning the tie around almost by himself. Madrid marched on, and Ronaldo carried them all the way to the final, where they beat Atletico once again. And then came 2016/17. This, many argue, was Cristiano Ronaldo's absolute prime season. Not because he scored the most goals, he only scored 42 in 46 games, but because of when, where, and how he scored them. Quarterfinals versus Bayern Munich. Ronaldo scored 5 goals across 2 legs, becoming the first player to score 100 goals in the Champions League. Semifinals versus Atletico. Another hat trick. Final versus Juventus. 2 goals, including the one that broke their resistance. That year, Madrid won both La Liga and the Champions League, the elusive double, and Ronaldo was front and center, the man for the biggest moments. He wasn't dribbling past 5 players anymore, but he didn't need to. He had mastered the art of timing, positioning, and finishing. He had become inevitable. In the space of just 3 seasons, Ronaldo had turned himself into football's ultimate predator. For many, 2016/17 was the peak of Cristiano Ronaldo. Not just in numbers, but in importance, in clutch moments, and in leadership. But Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't the type to stop at one peak, because what followed next was a run in Europe that no player had ever achieved before, and maybe never will again.
And shaking our head in disbelief at something that in some ways become so familiar. Like we even threw it out beforehand, you know, if any player you'd want in your situation where you need a hat-trick, he's the one because he could deliver.
By 2018, Cristiano Ronaldo had done the impossible. 3 Champions League titles in a row with Real Madrid. 4 in 5 years, countless records. Most players would call it a day, retire at the summit, or maybe enjoy a quiet final chapter. Not Ronaldo. He shocked the world by leaving Madrid for Juventus in a €100 million move. For Ronaldo, this wasn't about comfort. It was about challenge. challenge. He wanted to prove he could dominate in Italy just like he had in England and Spain. The goals followed him instantly. In his first season, he scored 21 in Serie A, helping Juventus win the league. But the defining moment came in the 2019 Champions League round of 16. Juventus were 2-0 down to Atletico Madrid after the first leg. The Spanish fans taunted Ronaldo, mocking his history against them. Bad idea. In the return leg, under the Turin lights, Ronaldo scored not 1, not 2, but 3 goals. A hat-trick to knock Atletico out and remind the world that the king of the Champions League still reigned. Even in his mid-30s, Ronaldo was rewriting the script. He finished the 2019/20 Serie A season with 31 goals, becoming the fastest player in Juventus history to reach 50 league goals. The following year, he scored 29 league goals and won the Capo Cannoniere, the Serie A Golden Boot. But unlike Madrid, Juventus couldn't match his Champions League hunger. Quarterfinal and round of 16 exits frustrated him. It wasn't that Ronaldo declined. His numbers stayed world-class, but the team around him wasn't built for European glory. On the international stage, though, he found new triumphs. In 2016, he had led Portugal to their first ever major trophy at the European Championship. And in 2019, he lifted the Nations League, scoring a hat-trick against Switzerland in the semifinals. Even with age catching up, Ronaldo always found ways to rise when his country needed him. By 2021, he had conquered England, Spain, Italy, and Europe itself. But for Ronaldo, every chapter brought a new challenge. And as he approached the twilight of his career, one final question remained. Was his prime behind him, or had he simply stretched it longer than anyone ever thought possible?
Cristiano Ronaldo has made a sensational return to Manchester United.
In 2021, Cristiano Ronaldo shocked the football world again. He returned to Manchester United, the club where his legend had been born. Old Trafford was electric as he scored twice on his second debut against Newcastle, sending fans into a frenzy. He kept delivering late Champions League goals, rescuing United in dramatic fashion, and even finished the season with 24 goals, earning the club's Player of the Year award. But behind the goals, cracks appeared. United were falling apart as a team, and Ronaldo's fiery standards clashed with a club in chaos. By late 2022, after disagreements with manager Erik ten Hag and a bombshell interview where he claimed he felt betrayed, his contract was torn up. It was an emotional ending, not the fairy tale many hoped for. Then came his boldest move yet. In December 2022, Ronaldo signed with Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia on the biggest contract football had ever seen. Critics said he was chasing money, but what followed was a revolution. Ronaldo became the face of the Saudi Pro League, inspiring a wave of global stars to join. And on the pitch, he proved he still had it. 4 goals in a single game, a trophy-winning brace in the Arab Club Champions Cup final, 54 goals in 2023, the most in the world that year. By 2024, he became the Saudi Pro League's top scorer and the first player ever to finish as top scorer in 4 different countries: England, Spain, Italy, and Saudi Arabia. Even at 39, he was still rewriting history. So here we are, 2 decades since a skinny teenager first stepped onto the pitch at Old Trafford. The question we began with still stands. When was Cristiano Ronaldo truly in his prime? Was it 2007/08 when he was the most complete footballer alive, scoring, dribbling, creating, dazzling, and lifting both the Premier League and Champions League? Or was it the years between 2013 and 2017 when he became the ultimate predator, the man who destroyed Bayern, Atletico, and Juventus in the Champions League, delivering Real Madrid their historic three-peat? The truth is, maybe Ronaldo never had just one prime. Maybe he had 2. One as the most explosive winger the game had ever seen, and another as the most decisive goal scorer in Champions League history. And that's why Cristiano Ronaldo's case for the greatest of all time is so unique. Because while most legends burn bright in a single era, he burned twice. And in the debate about when exactly he was at his prime, the only real answer might be longer than anyone else.